Hello, hello, hello. I'm back again, and I got something to talk about. Have you ever wondered why people just pass you by sometimes, or it seems like you're being ignored or left out? Well, I've had many of those times, many experience of being left out. And when I think about it now, it's kind of funny, but it wasn't funny at the time. So I want to share a couple of them. The first one, we're going to start with my youth, being young in Jamaica, Queens, New York, right? So I'm sure you're familiar with this game. It's called Run, Catch, and Kiss. Oh my goodness. So I'm about 12 years old, and it's time to play Run, Catch, and Kiss. I don't even know why I played more than one time. But anyway, here's the game. Okay, so the object of the game is the girls run, the boys catch you, they get to kiss you. And whatever else I guess they want to do that you let them. So here we go, running. Bam, bam, bam. I'm running down the street. And I'm nervous but excited but hoping that somebody catches me, right? So I'm running fast. Oh my gosh, they're coming. And then after a while, I look back and I realize there's no one back there, right? And it's a lot of us. It's a lot of people playing. So my running gets a little slower and I'm starting to wonder, like, should I look for them? Or, how does this go? Well, after running fast, then I ran a little slower. Then in the running slow turned into walking. And then the walking turned to me being back at the finish, at the starting line, like where we started. No one ever caught me. Little sad, bothered. Why? Because I was very thin, flat chested, tall, right? I'm the skinny girl. The nickname on the block was Granny. And all the other girls were well developed. And I'm wondering, like, why aren't they catching me? It took some time for it to kick in, okay? So they just passed me by. Game over. Everybody's grouped together with the person they caught or whatever. And there was enough people for somebody to catch me, but they didn't do it. And I think I played a couple of times and never got caught. To this day, no, I never got caught. Me and maybe one more person, okay, didn't get caught. So I guess we weren't the hot topics, okay? So that's one when I got passed by. The second one I want to talk about is there was a church I was going to years ago, and they did a call for ministry. If you want to be on this team or join this or whatever, come. So I get excited but scared at the same time. I go, get up the courage to go, and I'm going to join the worship team amongst some other stuff I want to do, right? So I noticed when we get there, they're like talking and discussing everything, and this is what you got to do, and fill out the form, and we'll take it at the end, and boom, boom, boom. So I'm writing, and I'm filling out my form, and I notice when they're talking, they're never addressing anything to me. It's not a lot of people there for the worship team. But they like looking past me like I'm not sitting there, so I'm feeling some type of way, but I'm going to stay. So then I realized when I filled out the paper and I went to want to give it back to them, like they didn't take my paper. They just reached over and grabbed everybody else's. I said, okay, this is a little uncomfortable. So I left. Okay, it was at the end, but I left. And my husband was there doing ministry as well. He was signing up for something, but I beat him to the car because I needed to go shed a couple of tears because I couldn't understand. Why are they passing me by? They saw me sitting there. No one entertained me, asked me questions, didn't take the form back. This is crazy. And okay, so I dealt with that. Here's another one. Part of my testimony, if you ever heard it, was that my husband and I was together and we divorced. And we had separated for a year and a half before the divorce. And when the divorce was finalized, we remarried 1 month later. Okay, so that's the story in a nutshell. But in a year and a half, I was by myself raising the children, and I I was very vulnerable, okay? So one time I had spoken to someone I had dealt with previous. We hadn't seen each other in years. So I was taking a trip to New York, and we thought it was a good idea to meet up, okay? So at my girlfriend's house, I'm up there for a couple of days, speak to him, and we're going to meet up. Very vulnerable, in a weak state, okay? Remember, I'm by myself, year and a half. But when I met up with him, it probably was, I don't know, 9 months. I don't know. So He comes to the house, my girlfriend's house, and I go outside to meet him, and we're sitting in the car, and we're having a good time talking. And then all of a sudden he says, "Can I have a kiss?" And I'm like, yes. Okay. I don't know what look I had on my face. I don't know what he received from me, but I know what I was feeling, and I was not in a good space, okay? Uh, I was kind of, let me see the right word I can use. Just too excited, wanting to be touched, I guess, haven't had that attention and or whatever. And so I probably look crazy. So I went in for the kiss. And when I went in for the kiss, as soon as I came back, it was just, mwah. And when I came back, he said, "Aren't you a Christian?" Whoa. I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel right. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to talk to you later, okay? It was nice being with you and talking to you or whatever. And I'm starting to get my whatever bag or whatever. And I get out the car. And so I go inside the house, and my girlfriend was like, "How did it go?" I said, "I don't want to talk about it, okay? Just leave me alone. I'm a little bothered." She's like, "What happened?" I said, "No, I don't want to talk about it." Because in my mind, I was hoping the kiss would be good, I guess, and maybe we can just forget it, okay? I was weak. So she's like, "Girl, you don't know. I was in here in tongues and everything, stomping. I was all in tongues for you, hoping nothing happened, girl. Oh, I knew you was weak, so I was praying." I'm looking at her like, "Thanks, okay?" Bothered. Okay. Another time, this is funny. I get invited with a group of girls to go out, and I'm having a good time. But I'm considerably boring to people because I guess I partied and did a lot of stuff early. So I say around the time 23, I didn't even want to go to a club. I didn't want to see a club, okay? There's just things I don't want to do. I did early and I don't want to do anymore. I've been delivered from them, right? Thank you, Jesus. So I go out with these group of girls, and I could tell I'm the like boring one, right? So, I'm happy and I'm excited to be out. And I said, "Okay, everybody, so what y'all doing after?" And they were like, it got like quiet, like, one said, "I'm going home." The other one said, "I'm sleepy." It was a lot of, like, you know, here's the funny part, okay? Minding my business on Facebook, and I realized the same girls that were supposed to be sleeping were out hanging out, and they didn't invite me. And I was like, whoa, why did they say that? Why can't they just tell me, like, "We're going," okay, nobody wants to do that. "We're going to club, you're not invited." No, nobody does that, okay? But the funny part was I saw the pictures and stuff, and I was like, they look real sleepy at this club. Okay, got passed by, looked over, nobody invited me, and that's okay. I used to think something was wrong with me. I used to think that when I get treated like that, it was something that I was doing. I used to think that like I was the only one going through that, and what could I do different? With maturity, I'm starting to understand God's keeping power. Those 4 stories that I just told, those short stories, it was revealed to me the reason why I was not allowed to get caught in the run, catch, and kiss, because that was not God's plan for me. The reason why I was not allowed to go on the worship team, because that was not God's plan for me. The reason why I wasn't going to go no further with the guy is because that wasn't God's plan for me. Because had I got seriously involved with him, my husband and I probably wouldn't have remarried. And that's what I really wanted, I guess. I didn't know at the time. But that was God's plan for us. The girls not inviting me out. What would have happened if I went out and started getting like flashbacks of my past and start entertaining stuff and all on Facebook with doing all kind of stuff, okay? So sometimes what we look at as like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I feel so left out," or "They keep passing me by," or "Why I'm not included." You better begin to give God some praise, okay? Because sometimes we have no idea what's going on. He knows the behind the scenes. And we're so busy feeling neglected and rejected and wishing someone would have invited us, or "Why didn't you catch me when we were playing the game?" I could have been pregnant, okay? Anything could have happened, okay? The run, catch, and kiss could have turned further than I wanted to go. But remember, I just wanted to entertain the kiss. I didn't want the rest, okay? Just different things in our lives where we seem to feel like we're not included. I'm starting to appreciate being separated. I'm starting to appreciate the fact that God has me separated and isolated from certain situations, okay? Because we think we are strong enough for stuff and we think we can handle things, and sometimes we can't. I already told you when I was with the guy, I was very vulnerable. He probably didn't even have to ask me for much because I was like able and willing. But God knew that. And I think He saw it on my face. I think He saw it in me. I was just too on fire, okay? And I wasn't on fire for the Lord. So I just want to say, as I get older and as I start to understand what I used to look as passing me by, I don't mind you passing me by. I don't mind when I'm not invited. I do not mind. As a matter of fact, people are starting not to even entertain asking me to do stuff, okay? I like it. Before it was like, Shundele, you want to do this or you want to do that? I realize that it gets less and less. The more I get into God, the less it even comes at me. The less I'm involved in certain things or people even questioning me to participate in certain things. I appreciate God's hand on my life. I like the fact that I get passed by because I don't want to be caught up in a situation where my flesh is weak, okay? So think about the times that you got passed by or you didn't get invited or looked over, be it in church, wherever. That's fine. But understand, behind the scenes, God can see things that you do not see, and He might just be covering you from some things that you know nothing about. So you should start to take it as a good thing when you're looked over. I'm realizing it's a good thing. I do not mind people passing me by. Guys, I